There are a lot of places human beings are prohibited from visiting, but this only serves to make you want to visit that much more. Some of these locations are off-limits because of the secrets they contain, whereas others are restricted for your own personal safety. Let's investigate both in this, our list of 7 places you can't ever visit. Number 7. The Site of the Dead Hand. There are probably a lot of places in Russia closed off to the general public, but within the southernmost part of the Ural Mountains, there is a whole town cut off from the rest of the world. Mezhgorye is home to around 17,000 people, and many believe it was built in the 1970s to house workers on the secretive nuclear control system known as the Dead Hand. The Dead Hand is the name given to a Russian system which can reportedly launch all of Russia's intercontinental ballistic missiles automatically upon the detection of radioactivity or seismic activity associated with an incoming nuclear attack. And even though this system was developed during the Cold War, there have been reports of major construction activity as recently as the last decade. So, Mezhgorye clearly remains active to this day. And whatever it is they're building out there, you can bet your bottom ruble it's not a Build-A-Bear workshop. 6. Snake Island. Remember we said some locations are off-limits for your own safety? Well, Snake Island is definitely one of those places. As its name suggests, the island, known locally as Ilha da Queimada Grande, is home to snakes. A lot of snakes. And not friendly ones either, as it contains over 4,000 of some of the world's deadliest species, with some possessing venom which can melt the flesh off your bones. There was once a human-operated lighthouse on the island, but this was eventually automated because of the sheer density of snakes living there, with some estimates claiming as many as 1 every square meter. Located only 18 nautical miles off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, the Brazilian government has not only banned visitors to this island, but has also employed the Brazilian Navy to patrol the area to enforce the exclusion zone. I think it's safe to say that if an entire fleet of heavily armed ships tells you not to go somewhere, that's a warning you should take very seriously. At 5. The Doomsday Vault. If the secret facility in Mezhgorye fires a nuclear weapon which decimates all life on Earth, the first thing humanity will need to do is repopulate. But after the post-apocalyptic love fest, we'll all want a snack. And it's at this point the last humans on Earth will make their way to the Svalbard Seed Vault. The Svalbard Seed Vault is located 800 miles from the North Pole on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen. And within this mountain vault, there are samples of almost every kind of seed on the planet, donated by various countries and philanthropists from around the world. But even if you've donated whole sacks full of important crops, it's tough to gain access to the vault and its seeds, even if you're a scientist. Mind you, all bets are off if that's the case for GMO Corps. The Svalbard Seed Vault publicly claimed their aim is to preserve crop diversity and ensure humanity has a viable food supply in the event of disaster. But considering the amount of secrecy involved and the vault's financial ties to Monsanto, there may be very good reason outsiders are unwelcome in the Svalbard Seed Vault. 4. North Sentinel Island. In the Bay of Bengal, east of India, is North Sentinel Island. And unless you want to be responsible for wiping out an entire tribe of people, potentially speared through the face, or arrested by the Indian government, you'd better not plan a trip there anytime soon. Approximately the same size as Manhattan, North Sentinel Island is home to one of the last remaining peoples to remain untouched by modern civilization, the Sentinelese. They have rejected any attempts at contact with the outside world and are known for sending a barrage of arrows towards anyone who tries to say hello. Shipwrecked crews have had to fight for their lives after washing up on the shore of North Sentinel Island, and the last known outsiders to visit were 2 fishermen whose boat drifted too close. Their boat became their graves. With anywhere between 50 and 400 inhabitants living there, we have no idea about the Sentinelese history, their customs, or what else is hiding on this island. And with a 3-mile exclusion zone currently in place around the island's waters to protect the Sentinelese from our diseases, we're not likely to find out anytime soon. 3. The chapel containing a great treasure. In the small town of Axum in North Ethiopia is the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, and within this church is believed to be one of the world's most sought-after biblical artifacts, the Ark of the Covenant. If it exists, the Ark of the Covenant is sadly nothing like the one you've seen in Indiana Jones, because if there truly was an object full of Nazi-hating ghosts who could melt people with lightning, well, you'd expect to have seen some army deploy that by this point. The real covenant supposedly consists of nothing more than a wooden chest containing 2 stone tablets. Oh, and those 2 stone tablets have the 10 Commandments chiseled into them by the very finger of God. No biggie. The Ethiopian clergy refuses to let anyone into their heavily guarded treasury where they claim the covenant resides. And the local head must live within the church and never leave its grounds. So, if you do want to know what's contained inside this secretive Ethiopian treasury, you'll have to rejig your resume. At 2, Mount Weather Emergency Ops Center. This is the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center located in Virginia, and it is used as the base for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Ordinary folk like you or I will never be allowed into this facility because its purpose is to act as headquarters for the U.S. top brass when a giant deuce hits a great big fan. Originally built during the Cold War, this is where Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, or Bernie Sanders may run away to hide after they've pressed the big red nuke button. The facility also runs constant simulations of nuclear attacks and how to respond deep underground. How deep? In 1974, Mount Weather was discovered by the public for the first time when an airliner crashed into it. But the facility is so deep, nothing much was damaged. Mount Weather is a fully self-contained facility that includes its own water store, sewage treatment, and power supplies. However, the most shocking information about Mount Weather facility isn't the news that none of us are allowed in when the nukes rain down. It's that there's a specific regulation which declares that even relatives of employees will not be admitted in the event of nuclear apocalypse. Bad news for those playing happy families, not so much for those with an impending divorce. And at number 1, RAF Menwith Hill. RAF Menwith Hill is home to one of the largest and most powerful electronic monitoring stations in the world. If you've ever sent a text message with the words bomb, terrorist, or ISIS in it, you can guarantee these guys have seen it. Located in the county of Yorkshire in the United Kingdom, Menwith Hill is run jointly by the UK government, the Royal Air Force, and the NSA, and is a crucial part of the Echelon spy network, which is used to detect terrorist plots, uncover worldwide drug cartels, and tap the communications of major world leaders. The facility is capable of infiltrating any communication system in the world, and aside from monitoring anyone called Al-Qaeda just to make sure, it has also been reported that commercial espionage and drone operation activities have taken place at Menwith Hill. So, it's no surprise that the public aren't allowed in. In fact, many employees on site aren't allowed to move freely within different areas of the base, with only the RAF commander allowed unrestricted access to the shady goings-ons at Menwith Hill. And there you go. Those were 7 secretive places you aren't ever allowed to visit. I mean, you could try, but you'd probably get murdered by snakes or Russians. A far better idea is to instead watch some more Strange Mysteries videos, like this one about the strange everyday things that affect your motivation.